Okay, so picture the scenario. It's 9:00 a.m. on a Monday. You've got your coffee. You are mentally prepared to tackle that huge project. You sit down, open your laptop, and nothing.
Hmm.
Just the spinning wheel. Or maybe the VPN decides, I don't know, it doesn't recognize you anymore.
Oh, that's the absolute worst way to start a week. It's not just annoying, it's that specific feeling of being powerless.
Yeah.
You're ready to work, but the tech just says nope.
Exactly. And that usually triggers a very specific kind of panic, right? You start hunting for a phone number, or maybe you walk over to the IT help desk if you're even in an office, or you just kind of stare at the ceiling wondering if you can go back to bed.
Hmm.
But today, we're going to look at what actually happens on the other side of that panic. We're doing a deep dive into the system that stands between you and, well, total digital collapse. We are talking about ServiceNow.
It's a name that sounds incredibly corporate, doesn't it? ServiceNow.
It does. It sounds like a command.
Right. But you're right. This platform is, it's essentially the operating system for how work gets done in almost every major company today.
So we've got this comprehensive guide here. It's titled simply ServiceNow.docx. And it breaks down the platform's definition, the benefits, the real-world applications. And I have to be honest, when I first looked at this, my skepticism radar went way off. I thought, okay, it's a ticketing system, big deal.
Right.
Why do we need a whole deep dive on a digital complaint box?
See, that is the common misconception. If you think of it as just a complaint box, you completely miss the point. My goal today is to show you that this isn't just about fixing broken printers. It's about the difference between a company that, functions and a company that is slowly bleeding money and time through inefficiency.
Okay.
We are talking about turning chaos into order.
Chaos into order. I like the sound of that, even if it does sound a little dramatic for IT support. So let's get into the source material here. What exactly is ServiceNow?
So the source gives us a definition that we kind of need to unpack. It says, ServiceNow is a cloud-based IT service management tool, often called ITSM, that helps organizations track, manage, and resolve IT issues efficiently through a centralized ticketing system.
Okay, hold on. Stop right there. ITSM and centralized ticketing. In plain English, why isn't this just an email inbox? Why can't I just email support@company.com and be done with it?
You can, and in a lot of small companies you do. But here's the problem with email. It's a black hole.
A black hole?
Yeah, an email doesn't have a status.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a timer attached to it. It doesn't know if the person you emailed is on vacation for 2 weeks. ServiceNow is what we call a single pane of glass. It is the central brain where every single request lives, breathes, and gets tracked.
So it's less about the message and more about the structure around the message.
Precisely. The source walks through the mechanism of the ticket. In an email, you just have text. In ServiceNow, a ticket is a data record. It has a priority level, it has an assigned owner, it has a history.
Okay, so let's walk through that workflow that's in the source. I'm an employee. I have a problem. The source uses the example, software installation required. I need Photoshop for my job. In the old world, I'd ask my manager, who'd ask IT, who would then ask licensing.
And 3 weeks later, you might get it.
Yeah. In the ServiceNow world, you go to a portal. You fill out a form that asks you exactly what you need. You hit submit.
And then what?
Then the engine starts. The ticket isn't just sent, it's captured. The IT team gets it instantly. But more importantly, the system knows who needs to see it. It doesn't go to IT General. It goes straight to the software licensing team. They work on it, they update the status in the record, and you can see that status in real time.
So it creates a paper trail, or I guess a data trail.
A rigorous data trail. And to understand why that is so critical, look at the before and after scenario in the source material. This is where the stakes get really high.
Yeah, the text asks us to imagine a company with 1,000 employees. Now, 1,000 employees means every single day something is breaking. Oh, constantly. Passwords forgotten, servers crashing, coffee spilled on laptops. Now, imagine that company without a system like ServiceNow. The Wild West scenario.
The source describes this as users call IT support directly, which sounds, I don't know, friendly, but I guess it's not.
It's a complete nightmare. I mean, think about it. You call Bob in IT, because you know Bob. Bob's a nice guy. He writes your issue down on a sticky note.
Yeah, okay.
But what if Bob gets sick? What if Bob is busy fixing the CEO's iPad? Your issue doesn't exist anywhere except on Bob's desk. There's no record.
And if I call back 3 days later and someone else answers, they have no idea who I am or what I'm talking about.
Exactly. The source notes that in this before scenario, resolution is slow, and issues aren't tracked properly. It breeds favoritism and chaos. The loudest person gets help, not the person with the most critical problem.
Versus the with ServiceNow scenario.
Right. A user creates a ticket. It is assigned automatically. The engineer resolves it, and everything is documented. It democratizes the support. It doesn't matter if you know Bob or not. Your ticket is in the queue, and the clock is ticking.
That clock ticking part is interesting. The source doesn't explicitly use the term SLA here, but that's what's implied, right? A service level agreement.
Deeply implied. In a system like this, you can set rules. High priority tickets must be answered in 1 hour. Low priority in 24 hours. You just can't do that with sticky notes.
Okay, so we've established it's a brain, not just a bucket. The source material outlines 6 specific benefits. I want to go through these, but I kind of want to push back on them a bit because some of these sound like buzzwords until you see them in action.
Fair enough. Let's test them.
All right. Benefit number 1, centralized ticket management. ServiceNow stores all IT requests and incidents in one place. We've touched on this, but the source says the key takeaway is no issue gets lost. Is that actually true? Can't people just ignore tickets?
They can try. But here's the difference. If you ignore an email, nobody knows but you and the sender. If you ignore a ticket in service, now, the system knows. Managers can run a report that says, show me all tickets that haven't been touched in 3 days.
Ah, so it's an accountability machine.
It's visibility. The source also mentions full history is available. This is the part that fascinates me. If you call me saying Outlook isn't working, and I can see in your history that you've logged this exact same issue 5 times in the last month.
Then it's not an Outlook problem.
Right. It's probably your laptop or your profile, or maybe you just need some training. But without that history, without that central memory, I'm just fixing the same symptom over and over and over again.
That connects to benefit number 2, faster issue resolution. The source highlights automatic ticket assignment and priority-based handling.
This is huge for efficiency. In a manual system, it's usually just first in, first out.
Which sounds fair in theory.
It sounds fair until the server room catches fire, but the IT guy is busy helping someone change their desktop wallpaper because they happen to ask first.
Okay, point taken.
The source uses the example. Server down. That's a business-critical event. ServiceNow recognizes the category server and immediately flags it as critical. It bumps it right to the top of the queue. It might even wake people up in the middle of the night through an integration.
So it triages the wounded. It knows a bleeding artery is worse than a stubbed toe.
Exactly. It ensures the business keeps running rather than just ensuring the queue stays orderly.
Now, benefit number 3 is where I think the magic claim actually holds some water, although I know you prefer process. Workflow automation.
This is the real power. This is where we move from just fixing things to actually running the company.
The source gives a great detailed example. New employee joins. I feel like onboarding is the ultimate stress test for any company. It usually involves like 5 different departments and a ton of confusion.
It's a classic coordination problem. HR hires the person. They need a desk from facilities, a badge from security, a laptop from IT, and an email address from the sysadmin. In the old days, HR would send an email blast and just hope everyone did their part.
And usually the new guy shows up, has a desk, but no computer and no badge to get into the building.
Right. ServiceNow treats this as a workflow. The source says, ServiceNow automatically creates tasks. This is the key. It's not one ticket. It triggers a chain reaction.
Walk me through that.
Okay, so HR enters the start date. ServiceNow instantly fires off a task to the warehouse team. Ship a laptop to this address. At the very same time, it fires a task to the sysadmin team. Create an email account and another one to security. Activate a badge. These all happen in parallel.
So it's like a conductor leading an orchestra?
Yes, and it even tracks dependencies. Maybe you can't ship the laptop until the email is created. The system knows that. It won't tell the warehouse to ship until that previous step is marked as done. It removes the human error of, whoops, I forgot to tell IT he started today.
That is sleek. It turns a chaotic human process into a logic puzzle that the computer just solves.
And it saves thousands of hours of administrative back and forth.
Okay, benefit number 4, better communication. The source says users can check ticket status anytime without needing to pick up the phone.
Think about the Domino's pizza tracker.
I was just going to say that.
It's the perfect analogy. Why do people love the pizza tracker? Does it make the pizza cook any faster?
No, not at all, but it stops me from wondering if they forgot my pepperoni.
Exactly. It reduces anxiety. It builds trust. If I can see ticket received, then technician assigned, and then ordering part, I know things are happening. The source calls this bridging the gap between users and IT. It stops the user from feeling ignored. which is, the number one complaint in IT support.
Transparency creates trust.
Right.
I like that. Okay, moving over to the infrastructure side. Benefit number 5, the cloud advantage.
This is crucial.
The source says, no need to install on local servers. Now, for a non-tech person, does this just mean it's on the internet?
It means that, but the implication is all about resilience. Imagine the before scenario again. You've got a ticketing system running on a server in your basement.
Okay.
What happens if the power goes out in your building?
The server goes down?
And now, how do people report that the power is out?
Can't.
Exactly. You have lost your eyes and ears at the exact moment you need them most. Because ServiceNow is cloud-based, as the source notes, it is accessible from anywhere and reliable. Even if your entire office is underwater, the dashboard is still up. You can coordinate the disaster recovery from your phone, from a coffee shop, from anywhere.
That's a really good point. The tool you use to fix the disaster can't be a victim of the disaster itself.
Precisely. It's the independent nervous system.
Okay, now we get to the part of the source material that I think is the most dense, but probably the most important for the experts listening. Benefit 6, professional standards. The source lists 4 terms: incident, problem, change, and asset management.
Yes. This is where we graduate from help desk to IT service management. These are really distinct concepts, and mixing them up is why so many IT departments fail.
Let's break them down. Incident versus problem. To me, those words mean the same thing.
In conversation, yeah, they do. In IT, they're almost opposites. The source lists incident management first. An incident is, my house is on fire.
Okay. The goal is put out the fire.
Right. Restore service, get the user back to work as fast as possible, use a fire extinguisher. But problem management, the second item, is different. Problem management is the arson investigator who comes in the next day.
I see.
They ask, why did the house catch fire in the first place? The goal of incident management is speed. The goal of problem management is finding the root cause. If you only have incidents, you're just fighting fires forever. You need problem management to say, hey, maybe we should stop storing gasoline next to the toaster.
That makes a lot of sense. So ServiceNow actually links these.
It does. You can link 10 different incidents. So 10 fires to one single problem, the toaster. When you fix the problem, it can automatically notify all 10 people that a permanent solution is in place.
That is efficient. Okay, what about change management? The source lists this as a key benefit.
This is the one that prevents self-inflicted wounds. Imagine an airport.
Okay.
You're a pilot. You decide you want to land your plane right now because you're a little bit early. Can you just land?
No, I'd crash into someone. I'd have to talk to air traffic control.
Exactly. Change management is air traffic control for IT. You might want to upgrade the email server land you're playing, but if you do it at 9:00 a.m. on a Monday, you crash the business. Change management forces you to file a plan, get approval, and schedule the landing for a time when the runway is clear like Sunday at 2 in the morning.
So it prevents the cowboy IT guy from just rebooting things whenever he feels like it?
Correct. It creates a safety buffer around the entire system.
And finally, asset management.
Just knowing what you own. It sounds so simple, but you would be shocked how many huge companies don't know how many laptops they have. The source notes this lets organizations run in a professional and structured way. It connects the physical device to the financial record.
So when you look at it all together, the cloud, the automation, these ITSM pillars, it really is a massive ecosystem.
It is. It's the backbone of the modern company.
We've covered a lot of ground. We went from the spinning wheel of death to understanding the massive logic engine that fixes it. Let's try to recap.
We started with the basic problem. Scale creates chaos. You cannot manage 1,000 employees with sticky notes and, good intentions.
And we introduced ServiceNow as the solution, a cloud-based platform that centralizes all that chaos into a single pane of glass.
We look at the workflow, how a ticket isn't just a message, but a tracked data record with real accountability built in.
We broke down the benefits: centralization, so nothing gets lost,
Yeah.
speed with priority routing, and the big one, automation.
The new hire workflow, parallel processing instead of a messy chain of emails.
Right. And we touched on the trust factor through better communication. And finally, the resilience of the cloud and the discipline of ITSM separating the firefighters from the arson investigators.
At the end of the day, it turns IT from a cost center into a strategic partner.
Right.
That's really the ultimate takeaway.
Before we sign off, I have a thought that's been nagging at me since we started discussing that whole without ServiceNow scenario.
What is it?
We talk about this tool as a way to help us be productive, but if you look at how deep this goes, tracking our assets, automating our onboarding, prioritizing our crises. It's like the company has a nervous system that's completely separate from the people who work there.
That's a very valid observation.
If ServiceNow went down, not just a server outage, but if the logic of it all just disappeared, I honestly wonder if a modern corporation could actually function. Do we even know how to talk to each other to get things done anymore without a ticket routing us?
That is the paradox of efficiency, isn't it? We've outsourced the coordination of our work to the algorithm. We are more efficient, yes, but we are also entirely dependent on this digital brain to tell us what to do next. The ticket has become the atomic unit of work. If there's no ticket, does the work even exist?
A slightly terrifying thought to leave you with next time you're waiting for your password reset. The system is watching, and thank goodness it is. Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the invisible engine of your office life.
It's been a pleasure.
See you on the next one.